Eddie Hearn said in a recent interview that AJ is underappreciated. He doesn't get the credit he deserves. I thought about it, and I agree. He is underappreciated. First off, he's the face of boxing. I don't care what anyone says. He's pulling in the biggest numbers globally, pay-per-view and ticket. He's won. He's the only fighter last year who had a pay-per-view event that did over 1 million buys. He's number one in my mind. He's been carrying the sport, doing these big stadium fights time and time again. And it's funny because Carl Froch years ago, he used to always brag about how he did 80,000 or whatever it was, 80,000 when he fought George Groves in the stadium. Anthony Joshua does that consistently all the time. So Joshua's on a different level. In what era can you think of where the heavyweight champion of the world, or any great champion that was in England, who had a lot of popularity, was so big that he didn't have to come to America? It's never happened. He's so big, he's never fought in America until the Andy Ruiz fight, and that's the only time he's ever fought in America. So he's made it where he can fight in the UK, and the UK is the hub of boxing. That's where the big fights go down. A lot of the big fights go down now. Not just for his fights, but all these big fights that are in the UK. Tyson Fury, Derek Chisora, and, Yard and Beterbiev. All these mega fights. What were some examples? When Errol Spence fought Kell Brook, Lomachenko and Luke Campbell, so on and so on. He did that. As far as his boxing accomplishment goes, three belts he's held. Never, ever, ever avoided a mandatory. He's always fought all his mandatories, and he's had a lot of mandatories because he had 3 titles. So he had Usyk, he fought him. Probably could have just said, Usyk, I don't want to fight you. I'm going to vacate my belt. Usyk's not big enough for me. Make up some nonsense. People would have bought into that. Pulev, Takam, unify with Klitschko, unify with Joseph Parker. Yeah, he's had some losses. We get that. He got knocked out by Andy Ruiz. That was terrible. He lost twice to Usyk. We get that. He's not perfect, but the man's a great fighter and a great ambassador for the sport. And I know he had his situation after the Usyk fight. He went a little bit crazy. That was awful. That was terrible. But other than that, he's always represented the sport in a great light. He's fought the best. Doesn't get into any scandals. Almost always has good sportsmanship. He's a modern-day gladiator, and I think Anthony Joshua should be appreciated more. And one last thing I'm going to say about Anthony Joshua, because people say, oh, what about Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder? He hasn't fought them. And what about the fact that they're big too? Let's rewind it 1 second. There was never any point in time where he should have fought Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury became champion in 2015 when he beat Klitschko. AJ became one of those belts he got versus Charles Martin when he beat Charles Martin. Fury was out of boxing at this point. He then Anthony Joshua fought Klitschko. Fury's out of boxing this whole time. He comes back, fights Wilder all these years later. Then fights Wilder again. At this point, AJ and Fury were going to fight for Undisputed, but the judge ruled that Fury had to fight Wilder for a 3rd time. Ended up working out. Thank you to that judge that he did that, or she did that, because we got one of the best heavyweight fights of all time. But had it not done that, we would have gotten Fury and Joshua by now. We had an undisputed champion. And then Joshua loses twice to Usyk. So there was never any point in time where he was supposed to fight Fury. As far as Wilder goes, some people say it's Joshua's fault. Some people say it's Wilder's fault. Some people say it's Eddie Hearn's fault. It's Al Heyman's fault. Whatever. I'm not going to get into all that right now. But as far as him fighting Fury, there was never a point in time where he was supposed to do that. But I remember when Tyson Fury beat Vladimir Klitschko for the title. People were not supportive of Fury. Now, he's reinvented himself. He's done well. People are into it. I remember when Deontay Wilder beat Bjorn Stavern for the title. He was having one of his first title defenses. I think it was his first title defense. He fought Eric Molina in Alabama, Deontay Wilder's home state. And Wilder fought him in front of the home crowd in Alabama, and he only sold 3,000 tickets. And I remember thinking, this fight was on Showtime, not pay-per-view, just a regular Showtime fight in Alabama. They sold 3,000 tickets. And I remember thinking, Nobody cares that Deontay Wilder is the heavyweight champion of the world. I mean, he wasn't really the heavyweight champion of the world. Vladimir Klitschko was, because that's who people regarded. But Deontay had a belt, and I remember thinking nobody cared. Nobody cared about Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. When I say nobody, I mean that figuratively. I don't mean literally nobody, because I know that one person's going to be like, no, I cared. I'm talking, generally speaking, the general public, especially the general American public, and even the UK public, did not care about Tyson Fury or Deontay Wilder until Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder won the titles. But not even then. It wasn't even when they won the titles until Anthony Joshua became champion, because then people are like, oh, Anthony Joshua, he needs a rival. So we're going to ride behind Deontay Wilder. We're going to ride behind Tyson Fury. So he's the one who built this heavyweight division up, Anthony Joshua. If there was no Anthony Joshua, Wilder and Fury, those 3 fights, they wouldn't be that big. And that's just the truth. People could say whatever they want, but it's the truth. Because I remember when Fury got in the ring after the Arthur Spilka fight in 2016, I think it was, and he got in Wilder's face. It was a thing in boxing, but the general public didn't care about Deontay Wilder or Tyson Fury. They didn't. And you see, they did like 250,000 buys in the first fight. Then they needed to get built up more and more and more. And even after that first fight with Wilder and Fury, I remember Tyson Fury talking bad about Anthony Joshua in the post-fight, in the ring. Why do you have to do that? Because his fight with Deontay Wilder is not that big. They need to use Anthony Joshua's name for clout. But Anthony Joshua, you don't hear him talking about those guys after his fights because he doesn't need to. So Anthony Joshua is the reason the heavyweight division is in the position that it's in. We should appreciate that more. I agree with Hearn. Please let me know what you guys think, and please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Peace.